If you can doubt every thought, you can be free just like that. At an instant. Bring every thought into captivity. It's so amazing. Anytime you have situations happening in your life, always be still. Don't overreact. Most of the people that I know, they say, oh, I know Jesus. I love Jesus. I'm an observer. And as soon as something don't go their way, they get mad. I'm like, what the? If you overreact, folks, remember to do that. Don't overreact. And when you get mad, it's your problem. It ain't your wife's problem, your husband's problem, your neighbor, your friend, your preacher, your teacher. It's your problem. Why you think you tick? It didn't go your way or the way you think it should go. Don't have a way you think it should go. Let life just happen. Thoughts make you think that life should go the way you want it to go. And if it doesn't, if someone don't do or say or act the way you think they should act, you hate them. And then you blame them for being mad. It's the darndest thing I ever seen. But it's amazing to see it. So relax.
Like my cousin, sent me you, and I thank him for that. It was more of a, he thinks the whole, everything's a joke. That just adds a little spice to it. But in the heart of what you're saying, there is real things going on. And people want to overlook that. And I'm telling you, Mr. Peterson, I'm not one of those people. And I thank God that, he showed you to me. And sometimes we just need some Jesse in our lives, I guess.
I wish we had more brothers like you. We need more brothers like you. Just because we don't have most guys that can, lead black people into the right direction. And I thank you for that, because a lot of people will be like, man, it's still going on. It's racism. Yeah. And I try to tell them, watch his show. Listen to this brother. He's telling the truth.
Take no thought about tomorrow. Yesterday doesn't exist. And you're going to see, man, God is with us and all is well. I have books that are amazing. I highly recommend you get them. 7 Guaranteed Steps to Spiritual, Family, and Financial Success Guide. Even if you're not starting a business, but you have a job, or you're on welfare, it can help you if you do. Be doers of the word, all right? From rage to responsibility. From rage. That's what I write about in the first chapter, especially how I overcame. Scam. How the black leadership exploits black Americans. They're using them, and blacks are too willing to be used. And then my last book, The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. They are all amazing books, and they are helpful. Go to rebuildingtheman.com if you want an autographed copy, or call 800-411-2663. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home. That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. He's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on America's soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in on this fine Monday. It's a pleasure to be back with you, as always, okay? Back over this weekend. Great weekend with all of you. But it's a pleasure to be back. We got a bit of a show. We got to get into it. Look, It's the last of the Mohicans. It's the last of the anchor babies. And I got some thoughts about it. So self-centered. Another show talking about me, but some thoughts about being an anchor baby. You know, we joke around and say this and that. And it's definitely, we'll have fun with all that. But there's some truths in a sense that I can see about what's happening to America, to this society I grew up in, okay? And so some thoughts about it all. What else about it, though? There's just so much stuff being talked about right now, and a lot of people are mad, and you're going to start seeing, I think, terrible things. I hope not. I don't wish that to happen, but you see some of this rhetoric, some of these people going on stage. You probably saw that video maybe of this guy doing some concert over there in the UK, okay? And it's just a lot of anger I see, and I think I've been somewhat clear over the years now doing this show about what I'm about love, how I'm a guest, and how it doesn't define who I am to myself, but I am honest about where I came from. And you got all these anchor babies in government. Look, there's plenty to get into, so we'll get into all of it. The big beautiful bill, is politics and stuff. We'll get into it. I have maybe some things to say first, and then the news and all of you. It's a pleasure to see you as always. Okay, it's nice to see you in the chat. Welcome everybody. Look, you could call in 888-775-3773. You got something on your mind, something you want to say, something on your chest, something on your heart, whatever. Call in 888-775-3773. And I'll take your call. Other than that, welcome all my viewers, rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. My people over. Did that stream go on, by the way? Rumble? I know it was down earlier. Yeah, we're live on Rumble. The number is wrong on Rumble. It's 888-775-3773. But of course, hey, what's up, people on punchy.tv/Anchor Baby? Thank you very much for making an account. And my viewers on YouTube, welcome. You guys already got your crowns, okay? You're clamoring for your crowns, and you're like, let me type something. Say hello, you know? Now you come in. It's like you come in and you say nothing. Now you come in and it's like, this is, obviously I'm taking it personal. This is me being catty. This is where I got to be manly and not do this, but I can't help myself. You don't even come in and say, it's not even like honest. You know, it's really just for the crown. So give me a little hello, Anchor. Give me a little hello to the Anchor Baby to show that you care. Or maybe you don't care. You can leave a comment. Tell me what you don't like. But through it all, click that little like button. There's no dislike button. So just click the like button. It shows that you're here. It shows that, I mean, come on. When you dislike something, you like it. Let's be real. When you dislike something, you like it. You love the mess, even when you hate it. So don't be rude. Click the like button. What's up, everybody? So let's see. How do we get into this? What do we do first? I want to get into, first I want to do, I'll get into the news, the bill and all that. The bill's interesting, actually. The big, beautiful bill. They say they bring these bills and it's like thousands of pages. And it's true. You can actually go and you can look at the text of these bills. You could go check it out yourself. Download the PDF, see that it's 1,000 pages and say, okay, I'm not reading that. But is it that bad, huh? Congressmen always saying, oh, they bring these bills. There's all this. We have to read so much. I mean, they got these great little summaries, and they're pretty long still. But I read through the whole thing of this big, beautiful bill. I gotta say, we gotta pass it. Let's pass it, baby. Debt? Oh, it's a little bit. Oh no, some more debt. We'll get into it, but it's a kind of interesting, actually. What's in it about the border is. And what I learned about the border and that whole fight since the 80s, Reagan, it's what some are calling, and I think I could confirm for you later, a generational win. Okay, but first I got this on my mind. I heard you want your country back. Well, shut the up. is what this guy is saying. And I got some footage for you, and it's not bleeped. So if you got the kiddos, I'll play a bit of it, and there's going to be swearing, okay? You got to understand. There's going to be swearing. He's telling them to shut that up. I heard you want your country back. Well, shut the F up, is what he's saying. And they go by Bob Villain. This is the group. It's actually a group, a duo. British grime punk duo. And am I judging? Is it a little bit, what's the word they use? Derivative? What's the word they use when someone just like does it copies but doesn't change too much? And so if you're like a little hoity-toity critic, you'll be like, oh, it's rather what derivative of I've heard this before, right? Maybe some younger fans listening to this guy who I just heard about, Bob Villain, or this group. Maybe they never heard of Rage Against the Machine. I mean, I'll let you make your conclusions. I'm not like a hater who you can't cover stuff, you can't bring it back. Is this a revival? Is this just kind of purely derivative? You'll tell me. It sounds a lot like just some Rage Against the Machine. I know that there's a criticism I've shared with others about culture. It's a stuck culture, kind of redos and redos. You can make your own conclusion. Let's see if I could play some of this. And again, the kiddos, if there are kiddos, if there are even bambinos, please, they don't need to hear such terrible words. But okay, he's all mad. He's on stage. They're at Glastonbury, whatever it's called, some festival, 2025. And he's telling the crowd, this is the lyrics to the song, by the way. This is the title of the song is the chorus. I heard you want your country back. And okay, here we go.
Heard you want your country back. Ha! Shut the fuck up. Heard you want your country back. You can't have that. Heard you want your country back.
Oh, look at the little sunflower. The ladies, the white ladies, the English, our English women, of course. Our English women, the bulwarks of reason, of reason. They're so nurturing of all English. Here they are.
Country back.
I heard you want your country back.
Ha! Shut the fuck up. Heard you want your country back.
Got the Palestinian flag in the background. Okay, this country was built on the backs of immigrants. So reads this the sign in the behind him.
Shit, me too.
Me too. And then we'll just stop it there. It's all we get it. He goes on a bit. That's enough, right? We don't even have it bleeped. Can our little ears handle only so much? All right, it's enough, little Nick. Thank you. We'll get back to you, but. I heard you want your country back, right? So he's going off on this. And let me just, where was I here? Where was I? Okay, yeah, the ladies were there. They're just singing. They're just happy about it. And, right, it's terrible. You're seeing this go off maybe on the internet. It's the conservatives have definitely jumped on this big time, right? This is terrible. This is what happens with immigration. I mean, that's kind of new. I want to say the mainstream conservative kind of refrain is, yeah, this is the problem with immigration. It's like, whoa, that's kind of a radical for the mainstream conservatives. No, a little bit. Some say a win, whatever. But I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I'm so done with. How do I put this? Just, it's not even about blaming. I don't want to make anything about blaming. Oh, we got to blame the right people. But I think there's something to be said about looking at reactions and seeing that people are very shallow in their reactions. Consider for a second these people out there, even the white people, singing along with this song. They have essentially a coherent worldview. You could dislike it, you could hate it, you could say it's wrong, you could say it's based on it's just totally dumb. That's fine. But they're sitting there, they believe it, right? They believe they're on stolen land. And it's like these guys, I'm trying to look into them. Who is Bob Villain? You know, they seem to maintain privacy. It's something that's being reported on. They're quite private, so it's hard to say. They did grow up in London. It seems they grew up in London. One of them has Jamaican descent. It's hard to say. You know, one of those guys, the guy on the stage you saw, started saying, "Inshallah, free Palestine. Palestine will be free." I mean, it was this guy over here. Is he a Muslim? Or is he just, you know how black people sometimes they won't even be Muslim or Jewish, but I don't know, it's just a weird subculture thing where, well, they'll be like, yeah, actually I'm Muslim, or actually I'm Jewish. So I don't know. And so they're private. They go by Bob Villain, each of them, right? They're like Bobby Villain. This is another Bob Villain. Together they are Bob Villain, the duo. They have a different name. So anyways, I'm trying to say that, yeah, it can even be silly when you look at them like, who stole the land from you, Bob Villain? Like, so you could sit there and say, yeah, they're silly, but they sit there and they stand there and they believe this, essentially to their mind, a coherent worldview. And when they say it's in stolen land, they mean it. You understand? And they believe it. And what am I getting at? It's like when I see all these people getting mad at this, it's been a few years I've been watching the news. It's been a number of years now, and I'm kind of seeing the same thing over and over again. There's just, I can't believe it, these people. I can't believe it. Yeah, the immigration is so wrong. When you ask them, like I said, when you ask any of these people what they believe, they'll tell you this is stolen land, etc. When I'm asking some of those Mexicans out there who are protesting, etc., they're like, yeah, this is stolen land. Oh, we're Mexicans, not Americans. This is our flag. This Mexican flag's our flag. So what is the point of getting mad at those people? It's like, yeah, they could be terrible neighbors, but who the heck let them in? So, you know, I don't know that much about the UK, but it's got to be similar to how it is here. It's just this immigration is inflicted because of reasons. It's political, wealth building, right? Cheap labor, they call it. So where was I? I mean, whatever, right? They're mad at this guy. They're saying all this stuff. But what else did I want to say about it? There was this other thing, kind of aspect to it. He went on, and they're making a big stink because he also went off about Palestine and all that stuff. And he started this chant, which I disavow absolutely. I mean, this is insane, right? He's just going off saying death to the IDF, he's saying. And the whole crowd just starts chanting. And, you know, it's like they're a dumb crowd, right? Like you got a beat going. You got a beat going, and he's like, okay, guys, now repeat after me. They're going to do it, okay? They're going to do it. And so that's what they start doing. They start chanting this thing. And so the news basically comes down is that this talent agency, United Talent Agency, comes down saying, well, this, you know, we should have stopped their stream, their performance, and in fact, we're dropping them and all that. But it's why? Because of this. Check it out. Anti-Semitism.
Well, let's return to that breaking news that Sky News understands the rap duo Bob Villain has been dropped by the United Talent Agency. It comes after the BBC expressed regret at not pulling the live stream of the rap duo's performance during the Glastonbury Festival. The corporation said anti-Semitic sentiments expressed by the group were utterly unacceptable.
Sky News, this is kind of the refrain too from like Republicans in the Trump administration responding to Stop Anti-Semitism on X. They're like, this guy, Bob Villain, these people, this group, they called for the death to the IDF, and they're coming to the U.S. as part of this tour. Well, right away, right? What is it? You know, I don't even know this guy. Randy Fine. Some Republican. Florida's 6th congressional district. It's like, we're on it. Hey, and stop anti-Semitism. Let's team up. We're on it, right? These guys are the ones who are quick to, you know, anybody trying to fix immigration in America, right? the border and all that. These are the stop anti-Semitism. You know, these are the people who are quick to fight that. They call it racist. So that's pretty much that. What is it? What's the point with that? It's yeah, I think this anti-white thing has been going on for long enough, if you ask me. And then, you know, they have them on the stage like that. I think you could have revoked their state. I think there's, I'm saying that the anti-white thing has just gone far enough. The anti-Semitism thing doesn't compare in my mind right now, right? I mean, look, they're these people who are like the ADL, for example. They're like, Mamdani's apparent win in the New York City mayoral Democratic primary is being celebrated by some with hateful anti-Semitic tropes and extreme anti-Israel rhetoric. And they put out this thread basically saying that, okay, all these people online are coming out saying that Zoran's win in New York is like totally anti-Jewish, and you guys got to chill, okay? Okay, we trust that they'll call it out, that all candidates, including Mamdani, will call it out, right? Anti-Semitism. You know, that's how they end the thread. When are you going to learn? When are you going to learn, ADL? It seems like your only friends is the white people in America. Mamdani, don't worry, guys. It's not. You guys got to chill with the anti-Israel stuff. It's not Mamdani. He's not like that. Yeah, that's the anti. I mean, what's Mamdani? The representation of Mamdani's win in New York. It's London all over again. He's openly saying they want to redistribute the wealth from the white neighborhoods and all that. So, anyways, that was just on my mind a bit. This Bob Villain guy and that whole thing where he was saying, "You want your country back? Well, shut the F up." Let's see here. Boom. So I know that was viral and all that. Now what else about this? Bob Villain. A little, is it just totally Rage Against the Machine? Like, they didn't even try that hard? Come on. Like, some of these lyrics, hold on. It's like, I don't think they tried that hard, in my opinion. You stole it right out of my hands and pulled the rug right under my feet. I'm Nat Turner meets Nat King Cole, a well-dressed brother with a revolution in my soul. We the people in the street got the gammons on retreat. Is that a common word y'all say over there? Gammons? Like ham? Like pigs? And their blood boils over when we speak. Yeah, anyways. I want my doggy back. This is just cheap Rage Against the Machine. I know that things get done over and over again. It's not all new and original, but some things, I mean, maybe the younger generation has really just never seen Rage Against the Machine. We're at that point where it's just long enough or something that you could do it. Anyways, let's move on. Where were we? 888-775-3773. Let me close all this because like there's some politics to get into. Some of this big beautiful bill stuff. Okay? And we got your super chats and all your support. We'll get to all of that. buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. Amazing. What are y'all saying over here on Rumble? Hey, what's up, Gerda? He's a Jamaican anchor baby, Nick. Come on, have some empathy. Yeah. It kind of falls apart, right? This person, what kind of anchor baby? What got stolen from that guy? Hey, let's move on from Bob Villain. Right? Let's move on from that. So the big, beautiful bill. I know big critics too. From some, Thomas Massey, others. Saying this bill is a whole bunch of pork. It's going to be bad, right? It's just full of debt. It's just going to increase spending. It's how it goes, right? And I just, every time a bill comes around, I hear something about it. And I hear the same things, right? Oh, it's 1,000 pages that just slapped on our desk. How are we ever going to properly vote on these things? And I think common refrains, although they probably hold truth, I decided to just kind of look into it myself, right? I mean, let's call it a new era in getting smart for real on some of these things that we're talking about, okay? Knowing for ourselves, getting smart. They say the same things, and you're going to find out here in a moment. They say the same things about these issues over the years. And it might be a little somewhat boring, but we'll get through it. I think you'll find it interesting if you pay attention here. It's the same thing. It's the same story, the same politics game, so that nothing can get done. You understand? But this big, beautiful bill, as it stands, seems if should it get passed and all that, should be a pretty solid win for immigration, it seems, okay? Pretty solid. But that's where it hangs right now. Senate Republicans advance Trump's big, beautiful bill. But the vote hangs in the balance. What happened with that? That was something, maybe a first round of something today. But was there anything in this article that I wanted to mention? Yeah, they're voting on it, okay? Republicans were divided over how much to cut welfare programs in order to extend $3.8 trillion in Trump's tax breaks, proposed cuts. Anyway, look, I don't remember why I saved the article. The point is, let's get to the bill. So I'm going through it. I'm going through like the summary of it. They have like this. They had nice summaries on Congress.gov. You could go check it out yourself. The full text of the bill. And I'm going through it a bit. And of course, the most interesting thing is immigration. And I see calls coming in. We'll get to all of you. 888-775-3773. The most interesting is immigration, right? Because to understand, I'm hearing things about it. I've heard that described that this is a generational win on immigration enforcement. And I'm just a little tired of the same rigmarole, so I had to get smart on it, find out, can we call this a generational win? Can I, the Anchor Baby, for sure call it, agree with the people describing it as such? And it gets down to like what's in it over immigration is like 3 different title sections concerning all sorts of funding, increasing funding for various things. We'll get into the details here in a sec. But to understand if it's a win, you got to go back to the 80s. Got to go back to 86. Ronald Reagan granted legal status to over 3 million illegals, they say. And the promise was employer enforcement. So this whole idea that we could somehow verify, that employers would be able to verify, putting in place some sort of system that employers would be forced to verify their employees if they have a legal status. They're effectively cutting off a huge reason and point that that illegals are even here, coming here, able to make a life. Border security, and in concert would effectively end illegal immigration. That was the promise. Okay, we could say that just didn't happen. We could say that. I mean, we could say that looking on the other end with the countless of millions of people that have come over, and not only that, the countless of millions that have naturalized, etc., through birthright citizenship. You just have this hemorrhaging, this pouring in of people, okay? And it's been like that since the 80s. I mean, Reagan later would be quoted as saying, the mistake I made was trusting the Democrats, to enforce the border. And we could say it's been a mess, right? I had to do a little digging. I had to do some digging to find out, okay, since 86, since that time, has anyone, Republican, Democrat, has anyone dealt with the border and this crime, this existential crisis? And no, it actually basically remains that way until something called the Secure Fence Act of 2006 under George W. So who remembers this one? This was, this is before I'm following politics, before I'm following any of this. This is the Secure Fence Act, okay? They hit it in 2006. similar in not in scope. You can see that it seems to be far bigger scope, this big, beautiful bill. But they definitely attempted this. They called it the Secure Fence Act, and it was all funding increases for various things and a promise to build a fence, a border fence. It was supposed to be this double-layered border fence to stop illegal immigration. In comparison to this, what they're doing with this bill, you got massive funding going for ICE, ending sanctuary policies through withholding funding, right? That's like leverage. Shutting off incentive structures, health and financial benefits to undocumented immigrants, all this stuff. That's really the major issue with enforcing this, even in the first place. The lack of detention beds, the lack of resources to even enact such a thing is what's been a huge roadblock for Trump in actually deporting these people. So this bill, it seems like amazing, right? Seems like a major win. So as it stands, let's pass the bill, bring it on. More debt, who cares? No border, no country. And it's just increasingly more obvious that you see that these people are just workers. They are changing the country irreversibly in many ways, and the laissez-faire attitude on actually dealing with it is due to the complicit government that benefits. Okay, let me finish this and get to calls. 888-775-3773. I want to kind of go back to the Secure Fence Act real quick. This happened in 2006. They promised to build 700 miles of fencing, and it wasn't completed. It was all supposed to be double-layered, and it wasn't all double-layered. The costs went above the estimates. Critics called it ineffective, expensive, symbolic, merely symbolic. Immigration hawks said it was a betrayal, a wall in name only. Is any of that familiar? Is any of that rhetoric? Is any of that commentary familiar? Because it was before me. I'm just kind of learning about all this. And it's quite familiar, obviously, for anyone paying attention. This is the exact conversation surrounding Trump's wall and all that stuff. And all I'm saying with that is that it proves to me this political charade that we see year after year, the same rhetoric, because the proof is obvious that you obviously can do things, even despite many of the critics online. Oh, you can never do things. Poly market, U.S. on track to lose more immigrants than it gains for the first time in 50 years. Oh, wow, you did that with just one president in a term or two. Trump has shown major competence, in my opinion, with the border. I mean, the reports say that crossings are down to like 8,000. These are levels not seen since the 60s. Since the 60s, we haven't seen levels this low of immigration. I mean, how can a modern country operate like that? How can a modern country with all this stuff, tech, and all that? The answer is because, well, one, not for very long. I don't think, not forever, and it's engineered. It's engineered. And that's with Trump saying keep the workers. Remember the other day he said, let's keep the workers or something like that. Let's keep the farmers, the people in the hotels. And I love the guy. He's always been a positive force for all that. But that's that line right there. With everything I've seen and learned, the charade of the Republicans year after year, what does that line mean? It's a line, and it was rescinded. I think it was backlash. And they're like, actually, we're not doing that. What does that line mean? What it's that little complicit, little give and take, that little part that has to work, either has to or wants to. I don't know what. There has to be a further movement beyond Trump in that respect. But whatever it is. That's what that is. That's what that line is. Oh, we got to keep the workers, the agriculture, those immigrants. It's them saying we're complicit in this because we're benefiting. And I don't know. I've heard some pretty interesting solutions. Like I should not have. Like I should be like a temporary worker status person. Coming from Canada with some sort of status that allows me to work here for a bond, and then after the contract is done, I leave. I guess, right? It's a little maybe stranger for me. It's like, where's Nick's real home? Don't worry about that. That's my life. But so there's creative solutions to all this, and the fact that it doesn't get done. How can the government be so okay with just kicking it down the road? Like, okay, we'll get to that. It's kind of very important, and that's why the birthright citizenship stuff is interesting and all that. It's not necessarily a huge change, at least not yet. Now I see it quite yet, but we'll get to that. Okay, we'll get to that. That's pretty much immigration. Generational win, I think I can say that. I'll agree with those that are saying that. This is major changes if this bill gets passed. So pass that bill. We'll get to the anchor babies, the Obamacare, AI, and other interesting things here in a moment. Okay, so I appreciate you all here. I want to get to some calls. Let me see here. What else? Let's get to Kyle out of Dallas. How you doing, Kyle? You're on the air.
Hey, Nick, can you hear me?
Yeah, coming in.
Good. How's your day?
All is well, Kyle. Appreciate your call. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I saw, about a week ago, JLP had that episode, right? I think you were there to kind of save him from most of the fall. So good work on that, man. I guess you kind of knew before it happened because his hand on the right hand, he had like a shake or whatever, right?
Yeah, something like that. It was kind of clear to me.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys got a diagnosis on it, but I kind of called it to kind of say what was happening there. So it's going to happen again because what had happened is it's called vasovagal syncope.
Vasovagal?
Yeah, syncope. I'll tell you what the root cause of that is. It's VASOVAGAL.
Yeah, VAGAL.
Yeah, and syncope. Space syncope is SYNCOPE.
Go on.
And so that is caused essentially when he has stress or if he's sick. And I noticed before he did that, he was clearing his throat and he was having so he was going through some episodes before that. So it's clear it happens during stressful events, including when he's sick, standing up for a long time. He's not the young spring chicken either. So with time, these things come. The root cause of it is the vagus nerve, right? So when the vagus nerve is damaged, or especially when you're sick, that blood flow gets impacted essentially, and the fainting happens. You can Google this, by the way. It's nothing new. So his vagus nerve essentially got impacted. Therefore, he fainted. That's probably why you saw the hand shake a little bit on the right-hand side before that happens. There's a way to kind of heal it, but I don't want to kind of put it out on the in the channels. I'll be happy to give my information.
Yeah, definitely email me, radio@jesseleepeterson.com. I'll forward it if I need to do that.
Yeah, please. That'd be great. It was kind of sad to see, but I'm here to help, man.
Radio@jesseleepeterson.com.
Radio@jesseleepeterson.com. Got it. Okay, and address it to you?
Yeah, that'll arrive to me. I'll forward that should I need to.
Got it. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Any questions for me?
Are you a doctor?
No, I'm not a doctor. I'm an engineer.
Right on, man. Well, no, I understand that people are just concerned and they got thoughts on it. So, noted, Kyle,
anytime.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Have a blessed day.
For sure.
Bye.
888-775-3773. Everybody concerned. I get this impression that y'all are going to hurt. You're going to hurt him more than help, but I don't know. Vasovagal syncope. It's one of those things. See, I'm somewhat familiar with this. It's not even. It's just like an event. It doesn't mean a disease. Like you don't get. Like it can happen to anybody in a sense. It's like a way to describe something happening with the body. A vasovagal syncope. But this does look. The symptoms. I mean, it looks. What's it called? Familiar. Anyways. Yeah, radio at jesseleepeterson.com. Now, where was I? Where were we? 888-775-3773. We got some supporters here. Appreciate that. John Zimmer, thanks for being generous, always supportive. Appreciate that. Lin Yin Chin, always appreciative, says, Lin Yin Chin here is talking about his regimen on the 26th layer this week, 27th next week, and back to the 28th 2 weeks out. With 1,664 rep range, I must compress to under 30-minute executions. He's got this crazy, and I say crazy in like how awesome in a sense it is. He's got this like workout regimen. It's like a machine. He's like a motor, and he tries to compress as many reps of like just body weight exercises and like a sequence of them into like as little time as possible. And each cycle of this is like a layer. That's what he calls a layer. So he keeps just rising in layers. This guy's a total machine. Focus must be on discerning and flowing with your heart rate, center of gravity, breath flow, and the inner stillness that makes them blend as one. Hit the like and feel your Mexican soul glow with the sparkle blast of God's grace. His curly locks gather the glitter of Christ. Lin Yin Chin, always appreciated. When are you going to put out the regimen? When are you going to put out the way of Lin Yin Chin? You know, the path of Bushido here. How can people attempt the layers themselves? You know, that my understanding is it's like a sequence of body movements, and he'll do like a number of reps in each of those body movements, but he'll keep sequentially going until he can't any further. The farthest he goes is the latest layer, and how long it takes him to gas out and get to the highest layer is the time. I mean, when are you going to put out the regimen? It's a feat of endurance that I think is kind of sick. Let me see here. Moving on here. Where were we? What do y'all know about Obamacare? Oh, wait. First, birthright citizenship. Real quick. They're saying the U.S. is no longer accepting birthright citizenship. Oh, my gosh. They're on the internet. It's like, that's not exactly it. This Supreme Court decision went down and all this concerning executive orders concerning birthright citizenship, but it's not exactly what people are saying. And so people are going viral. These conversations are going viral right now concerning what makes an American. If the U.S. no longer has birthright citizenship, this person, I think, misspells that. TERFs aren't women, is the account. What determines a U.S. citizen? What? So if being born here, if being born here doesn't make you American, then what the heck does make you a citizen? Is the big question. Many are coming up with cute little responses saying, "Oh, well, if that's true, if birthright citizen, if being born here doesn't give you citizenship, then all these European immigrants have to go back." They got these cute arguments. But it's entirely, see, all that is an attempt to ignore what is an entirely ridiculous statement, which is to say that, for example, someone like me, whose mother doesn't even speak English, Take that in. Whose mother doesn't even speak English, is as American as, let's say, Hake of the Hake Report. and like, look, in a certain way, I'm as American as the next guy, which means what exactly? Let's examine that for a moment. Like, I'm as American as the next guy is like, yeah, like in what way? In memes and Netflix and what? Like pop culture and things that we grew up with. Like, sure, we're all attuned to this monoculture, this modern creation, an attempt to tell us, give us this story that there is no more hate in the world. There's no more wars. We already finished the Great World Wars. There's no racism. And we can all just be a big happy family as long as we keep telling those white people to chill out and shut up, you're racist. And then you're looking around and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I could sort of believe that. Let's be a happy family, but everything's falling apart. I got to be honest here, right? So yeah, I guess in that sense, I'm as American as the next guy. Like, yeah, we all agree on this monoculture, this modern creation. And you know what? If you really examine that really fractured us. That really fractured people. Because what do people do? They've retreated from any kind of like agreed identity, which seems to have been the way of the world for a while. And then what? The world, you ask most people, I've retreated to find what they seek. They seek real elsewhere. Whatever. But, that's just how I think about it when it comes to this birthright citizenship stuff. And yet I have a deep respect for the culture that made it all. I can still do both. I could do that. In some ways, some might say I was grafted on, allowed in, call it what you want. It's nothing wrong with being a guest. That's not a matter of who I am. It's a matter of accepting how I got here. And I think that's far too much to ask of all these people with just an open border, to ask them to think like that. Like, people are how they are, and they see themselves as like their parents, and their parents are Mexican, and their parents are, like that's how they see it. The 14th Amendment was given was to give freed slaves citizenship. It was a tool for that time, at that time period, to answer the question, what are we going to do with all these freed slaves? And that's it. What else about this? So that's really the problem with all that. With this continued lie over decades, that these people who came over, had a baby that way, that they were all initially that they were meant to be American. It's just not true. It's a scam. It's like a misunderstanding at the least, to a scam of this 14th Amendment that America has looked the other way about. And then everyone since then has been basically lied to that they are American and all that. And there's been all these hopes and all that. I get it, like assimilation and stuff. And maybe it was possible or something, but you understand there's no real men handling things to direct such an undertaking. It's all these. It's first of all, it's all these foreigners in the government, so they're caring for themselves. So there's no talk of assimilation, and then it's all these feel bad for them people. So where was I here? That's it. That's what the 14th Amendment. And is that even going to change? That's the thing. Is that even changing? No. What changed was the Supreme Court. And I talked about this injunction. Who was the guy who did this? I talked about it when it first happened, right? Because we're following the last of the Mohicans. We're following the story, the last of the anchor babies. Will it be the end in America? Which seems to be quite a unique setup in the entire world in history. That you could just come over, right, be born here, and be able to vote, be in the government, enjoy all these benefits, enjoy all sorts of things. So what else about this? What was I saying? Being American. Well, let's see here. What else did I have here? Look at this guy. We got people with the same. We got one of those people with a cute theory that I was mentioning. Let me just play some of this while we move on here. Some of the funny things I saw about it.
What now?
Oops. This guy's making a little TikTok saying how the Europeans are basically going to have to go home. Wait, did I want to play this? Hold on.
Now, with the help of the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
We did it. Oh, crap. What now? With the help of the Supreme Court, Trump is finally getting rid of birthright citizenship.
And it's like, that's just not exactly what's going on. The Supreme Court struck down this injunction that this lower court put forth back when Trump put forth the executive order. He's like, okay, executive order. I'm the president. You can't talk to me like that. Right? We execute the laws here. And these people can't be citizens. These are not freed slaves. And so lower courts put up an injunction saying, for this reason, I forget why, this is like unconstitutional or whatever. They gave their reasoning, but they put up an injunction saying, which stops the executive order. The Supreme Court struck that down. And now it's up to the states. Now in all the states, I forget exactly what, that were either going to do this anyways or didn't have anything blocking this, then yeah, instantly birthright citizenship is effectively stopped there. But that's not every state. And as it stands, courts will still be able to challenge the president. They just have a higher bar now. It can't be an injunction. It has to be what's called a class action lawsuit. But like even one of the justices said, this might amount to simply just, legalese. He didn't put it that way, but he said something to the effect that what this might amount to is just more politics and legal stuff where, okay, now they won't be able to do an injunction, but they'll do a class action lawsuit. So is birthright citizenship gone? No. Let's let this guy go off, huh?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, he can't help them. Are you sure you want this? Yes, America is for real Americans. Real Americans. Yep. So, sorry, Pedro. You and your little mamacita better pack your bags because y'all are shipping out. But birthright citizenship is in the Constitution, the 14th Amendment. No, see, Trump said that was only put in there for the children of slaves. What? Yeah, apparently they just put that in there for the children of slaves. So the descendants of slaves get birthright citizenship. Yeah, yes. Okay. Are you cool with that?
I guess this is the white guy, right? The guy on the left.
I'm good.
The guy on the left is supposed to be a Trump supporter at the very least.
A
European Trump supporter?
Yeah, so all you immigrants. Wait, don't you mean all you immigrants? Wait, what? I mean, everybody came from somewhere, right?
Got him?
No. Yeah, if there's no birthright citizenship, how are you even a citizen? No, because... Yeah, that's going to be a lot of charter flights to Europe, I think. No.
Wait, is this one silly? Wait, I thought I had the point on this. Hold up. I thought I had the response on this. I mean, yeah, there was immigration, right? Europeans and all that. It's a little ridiculous. I'll say this. It's a little ridiculous to think it's a little ridiculous to deny the very large, stark difference in stock when comparing, let's say, Pedro and illegals hopping the border, right, getting into hospitals, having babies, right, abusing the 14th Amendment and comparing that to European, originally they're European settlers, and then Europeans that came afterwards. Hey, it was contentious back then, I heard. Okay, I'll say that. To be fair, I heard that it was contentious even back then. I think that's where the whole Italians aren't exactly white comes from, kind of thing. The Irish aren't exactly white, Christians, whatever, a bunch of Catholics or whatever. I mean, so to be fair, I heard it was contentious back then. It wasn't exactly hunky dory. Someone might have to correct me on that and let me know, but what Norwood level is that? That's a great question, and I'd say that's a good 3.5 to 4. The man is definitely far into a diffuse thing, and just way past it, way past. What are they called? Entradas. What do they call them in Spanish, in English? But he's also gray, so I don't know. Maybe I don't know on what curve he's on. You know, some people are on better Norwood curves. Yeah, you got the scale, sure. It's easy to just look at someone and say, where on the scale do you fall? But nobody ever asks, on what curve did you get there? You know, some people start Norwooding in their 20s, in their early 20s, my buddy. If you know that the Norwood Reaper comes for all, then the real question is, on what curve are you on? You see what I'm saying? It's not what's part of the scale. For the scale comes for all. It's what curve are you approaching the scale? It's not. Anyways, deep philosophy on important topics. Everybody asks about the scale. Moving on. What is about this guy? That's it about this, I think. Birthright. No birthright citizenship means not a single person on American soil is American citizen unless you're Native American, by the way. Also, just crude simplification. Who made America, right? I mean, just ask those Native Americans. They don't see themselves as American. And the removal of birthright citizenship is, in fact, the removal of magic soil, right? That you're a full citizen on being born on soil alone. Anyways, what else about this? That's enough, right? Let's see what y'all are saying, because we got there was an interesting thing about this big, beautiful bill, if I may, on Obamacare. And I didn't know much about it, but it told me something about Trump a little bit. It told me something about Republicans a little bit. And maybe I might need your help. You tell me if I'm wrong about this one. But some of you are definitely far more familiar with the Affordable Care Act, right? And Obamacare than I. And let's see if I could just pull up everything I had on this. Because, they're saying, I didn't see much about this because I was going through the summary. I was going through the big, beautiful bill. And I got to this section concerning the Affordable Care Act. Obamacare, as it was called. And so they're making some changes concerning, oh, darn. Apologies, hold on. I have all this writing I get through. Okay, so they're making some changes, okay, to the Affordable Care Act. They're making it so low-income people have to sign up during what's called a standard enrollment period, as opposed to being able to sign up all year round. Stricter eligibility verification. You got to have documentation. It's got to be immediate. It's got to be complete. Prohibits gender transition procedures from being classified as essential health benefits. It's like, duh. Some common sense, right? Gender transition. I mean, this comes down to some of the what I've gathered is what was the controversy of the Obamacare stuff. Besides the right subsidizing and wealth transfer that it was said to be, right? Subsidizing the health care for low-income people. So besides that, the problems were, well, who is even deserving of this? I mean, Trump has had his questions about it too. And when I see what he says, like, again, I wasn't really even following that well. Obamacare, what Trump said in response of what he wanted. But kind of going back and looking at it, it seems like Trump is not your average guy. You know, I mean, what he says about it is like he wants his own, right? It seems like he had said that he wants a big health care for people as well. Maybe not necessarily Obamacare, but what did he say about it? Hold on, I had it right here. He said he wanted that it was going to be beautiful, right? It was going to be beautiful. Let's see here. He opposed Obamacare, but he does support government funding for certain plans, it seems. What did he say about it? Apologies. So, okay, so the changes that they're making in this bill, they're removing this gender transition stuff, right? They're making it harder for illegals and stuff. And I was wondering, is this, I know that he has said he wants to repeal Obamacare, for example. And this is not exactly that, right? But a step to that in what they want. Tightening this up, restricting it from the gender-affirming stuff. Is this a major win? Call it a partial win, but what was it that was interesting to me? Let me see if I can just remember. Because they had this article, for example, on NPR. And they were doing this what's it called? They're detailing the story of this guy, Alton Fry, this guy here on this NPR article. And where in this article they are, railing against this big, beautiful bill because it's going to make insurance rates and stuff. It's going to make it difficult for people like Alton Hall. But what position is this guy in? See, this is a bit of an old conversation that goes back to Obama. When this was passed, this Obamacare stuff, the controversy was forcing all these states to provide to provide this insurance. And at some point, that was struck down. Okay. And these people were so-called left without coverage, okay? So they promised this Obamacare stuff, and then the Supreme Court ruled that the Medicaid expansion was optional and not mandatory, right? Initially, it was promised the states would have to comply, expand Medicaid, and all these millions of people would suddenly have health care. And then the Supreme Court said, no, that's actually optional. And so many Republican states opted out, right? And they created this class of people that they called the Medicaid coverage gap. But it was like an artificial thing because they never were even initially insured anyways. It was just this big promise of Obamacare, and then it was unconstitutional or whatever. The Supreme Court was like, the states can do how they want. And then those were that was the Medicaid coverage gap. That's who Alton. They still got this story going, is what I'm trying to tell you. They still got it going where they say his family makes too much money to qualify for the Affordable Care Act stuff, but doesn't make enough. He's too poor to get the Affordable Care Act subsidies, but didn't qualify for the state's limited Medicaid. Okay, so he's one of those people, right? And so it's just I'm trying to describe maybe a little crudely this old story of the so-called victim that you have to feel bad for, and they paint this picture of evil Trump that wants to just cut all this all these health care benefits for poor people and all that. And I just think it's a bit of a wrong impression, if I may. I get this impression that Trump really does want to help people. And I'm trying to find the quote, but he said something about, he doesn't say like, no, we just can't have any health care, can't have any help at all. He says, I forget how he said it, but that he wants like that it's going to be a beautiful, let me see if I can even find it. That it was going to be like beautiful coverage for people. Here it is. Promises of a beautiful health plan that would be cheaper and better than Obamacare. Now, does that mean like this, like universal health care? No, I don't know if it's entirely clear, but it seems like he would want, just the people that deserve it and stuff like that, people who really need it. And I think it's proven when you see like the administration removing 1.4 million illegal aliens from Medicaid. It's like, wait, that's just liberal communist stuff, right? Medicaid. No, I think he sees that some people need it, but here's the real one of the major issues with the whole thing. And this is and why I'm bringing this up is what I think I'm seeing in Republicans that I truly don't like. They'll rail against Medicaid and rail against these things and say, we got to cut it. But when are they going to deal with the illegals? That's really the major problem here. I bet you could have the help for those that truly need it if you didn't have all these illegals and all that being subsidized. And why are they being subsidized? Why are their lives being subsidized? Because Republicans benefit, Democrats benefit, the government benefits, okay? So when I see something like this, it hits me like Trump actually does think about the people, right? I bet you could even take care of those that really need it. And so that's why I don't want to hear from like Republicans, vote for me because you got to cut all this stuff and until they deal with illegals. Like I'm really seeing just how much of a scam it is, man. And I don't see myself like voting besides Trump. Like I just don't see it. Anybody see it? Why would I vote for any Republican? Why would I ever vote for a Republican? And so I just don't want to hear about a system that, a broken system, broken medical system until you get rid of illegals, right? Show me you really care.
The president.
So anyways, just kind of rambling a bit about the Obamacare stuff and health care. I found it somewhat interesting, no? You see it somewhat, there's a bit of a cruder, more of a crude look at this one, less of a fleshed out segment, but tell me if you saw any of what I was saying there. Just found it interesting. Well, okay, here's one that's fascinating. Finishing off the bill here. AI. Here's one for you. Section 43201. This section prohibits states and localities from limiting, restricting, or otherwise regulating artificial intelligence models, AI systems, or automated decision systems entered into interstate commerce for 10 years. This prohibition does not apply to any state law or regulation. Okay. That's some of the language in the big, beautiful bill. Some I've already mentioned this. It was there, though. I was looking through it, found it myself. Yeah. 10 years, no regulations on AI, and I don't know exactly what no means. I mean, the states are allowed certain things, but it's a new world. Call it. It's a new era. They want it to be, and you know it's kind of popping off everywhere. I mean, it seems like all the nations, all the major nations, all the big nations are putting a lot into it. If you've seen any of these power consumption charts, that I forget who put that out, but they're showing some of this power consumption happening in China. We're to believe it is wild, right? It's like, how are they producing and consuming so much energy? Why are we so behind? AI is a huge driver of this. You're seeing in the same bill, it's all this energy provisions on deregulating the energy industry because America's got to make energy, okay? Has to do with AI as well. Yeah, I mean, that's it, right? 10 years. I mean, the world's doing it. I'm not going to say, you got to stop. It's just it is a strange world, the tech world. At least some people in it, okay? And maybe I'm just reacting to this clip going around, but I thought it to be a little bit of a breather here, a little change of pace. You know, this was in the bill concerning AI and their desire to, deregulate it and, let it do its thing in America, become a total powerhouse industry if it has to be. This is Peter Thiel. He's a co-founder of Palantir. You've maybe heard this and that about Palantir concerning their somewhat close ties to Trump and this tech world coming in some ways thanks to Trump. I mean, you're seeing it in the bill. I mean, you can see this. It's a business thing too. It's not really a total criticism. It's just this is the news. This was going on. And there was this podcast or whatever that Peter Thiel was on, and this was being shared a bunch. Look, maybe it's just more silly than anything, but they're talking about the Antichrist. I'll just let it play a bit here, right? Peter Thiel, co-founder of this Palantir tech company that basically operates in its major dealings is artificial intelligence and using that artificial intelligence to compute large amounts of data to, come up with what, they call insights into all various things, a whole bunch of things, people, groups. Here's Peter Thiel on some show talking about the Antichrist.
This is my very specific question for you, right? Is that you're an investor in AI. You're deeply invested in Palantir, in military technology, in technologies of surveillance, in technologies of warfare, and so on, right? And it just seems to me that when you tell me a story about the Antichrist coming to power and using the fear of technological change to sort of impose order on the world, I feel like that Antichrist would maybe be using the tools that you were building, right? Like, wouldn't the Antichrist be like, great, we're not going to have any more technological progress, but I really like what Palantir has done so far, right?
Yeah,
I mean, isn't that a concern? Wouldn't that be the irony of history would be that the man publicly worrying about the Antichrist accidentally hastens his or her arrival?
There are all these different scenarios. I obviously don't think that that's what I'm doing.
I mean, to be clear, I don't think that's what.
And me neither. I personally don't think that either.
You're doing either. I'm just interested in how you get to a world willing to submit to permanent authoritarian rule.
Well, but again, there are these different gradations.
It's hard to respond to that.
Of this we can describe, but is this so preposterous, what I've just told you, as a broad account of the stagnation that...
I don't know what he's talking about. See, this out of context. I didn't even watch it, but this is just going around. I thought it was a little change of pace. See, I knew you guys would be quick, too. This is another reason I played this. I knew you guys would be so quick. Oh, yeah, this is, in fact, exactly what this is. This is exactly what the Antichrist would do. You guys call everything the Antichrist.
The entire world has submitted for 50 years to peace and safetyism. This is 1 Thessalonians 5:3. The slogan of the Antichrist.
Oh, he's using the word.
Christ is peace and safety.
Peace and safety. 1 Thessalonians? He's using the word.
50 years to peace and safetyism. This is 1 Thessalonians 5:3. The slogan.
1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Hey, that's the word for you. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with a child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Yeah, what's Thessalonians, y'all? Someone's got to help me, because was that like one of them letters? Because I don't know if Jesus wasn't around here, right? And it doesn't even say anything about antichrist in here. It's just saying, for when they shall say peace and safety. I mean, that's everybody. Well, I don't know. Look, whatever. It was a funny video. I just liked him squirming a bit. Like, it's just funny. I mean, when you put it like that, I guess. The Antichrist. I mean, I'm not saying no. Look, I'm not saying no on Peter Thiel, but it's just that's an easy one, right? Everybody is going to see that video. That's the easy one. Everybody in the chat's like, we found the Antichrist. And it's like for most people, unless you're at some sort of forefront, I don't know, of some political, I don't know what, telling the truth of the world, you would already be that. You would be doing that. For the vast majority of people, that actually harms. It doesn't really help to think that you found some Antichrist, to think that you found, right? The spirit of the Antichrist, I see it personally represented constantly in people that call themselves Christian and that don't, smart or not. And I see calls coming in. I'll get to all of you. 888-775-3773. What was I saying? Antichrist, whatever, Peter Thiel. He's right. Well, he's just trying to keep everybody safe, right? Surveil. We got Aaron out of Maryland, man. Thanks for your call. You're on the air.
Hello?
How you doing, Aaron? Go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, Nick? How are you?
All is well, sir.
I wanted to call in and ask you, how's it going now? The back-to-back assignments are pretty funny for the radio host. I'm wondering how you dealing with the keeping it, saying what you need to say with as few words as possible while you're running a radio show host, or while you're being a radio show host. Really?
Yeah, in some ways, especially if I remember. I kind of had a bit of a head start on that. I kind of have a bit of a head start. I've been examining myself deeply in these, even a little bit before that assignment, because I do this thing. It's terrible. It's terrible, and it's definitely where I definitely should never do it on my show, where I'm like, you know what I mean, and you know what I'm trying to say. It's terrible, and so paying attention to that has been awesome. I've made some more, even if I'm wrong, even if I'm wrong, or if or whatever, I'm making more definite statements has been kind of, I think, more enjoyable for viewers, for callers. So, and trying to say with at least words too has been nice as well.
Do you think it's like tough? I think it's a little bit tough.
I mean, just
while I'm watching myself go through it, I see it like tough. Sometimes I see myself running on, and I'm like,
what do you mean by what's tough?
Well, because it's kind of like, maybe it might be a thrill or something, but when you just go on and on sometimes, you know what I mean? You feel like you're getting, by the more things you say, you think you're actually getting closer to what you mean. You know what I mean?
See, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, dude?
I just said that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Dude, you know what it's like? It's maybe at times behavioral, at other times it's insecure. But put it like this, to answer your question though. That's a side note. What's tough about it is just accepting that you don't know what you're talking about, basically.
Right.
And so that's kind of made it easy though. Just getting past that. It's like, oh wow, I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh wow, let me actually look at the summary of the bill. Oh wow, you know what? Trying to get actually smart in certain respects.
Right.
It is actually in practice easier. Whatever personal feelings about it, it is totally a way easier way to live. In practice, totally much easier because now you can say things confidently. It's like what you don't know, what you do.
Right.
And it makes for better conversation, etc. You're making a statement, or you're just saying you don't know. You're staying out of it. It just makes for a better show. I think people are enjoying it.
100%. I'm enjoying it. I didn't know. I mean, obviously, I can't know you, so I don't know if you were actually practicing the assignment, but it seemed like you were. So, I wanted to call and ask you about that. Can I share a story with you about a moment where I practiced that heavily?
Man.
Yeah. So I had to go handle some business, and when I was handling it, I was at the counter with somebody, and then I said, "This is what I need." That's it. I just dropped it there. And then just let them figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't explain anything else. I'm like, this is what I need to have then. And then they were like, you know what I mean? Trying to figure it out. And I just stayed quiet and let them solve that. And then later on, they came back and said, okay, yeah, we could do that, but I need to do this thing. They said something. And I was like, I don't know what that is. And then they tried to explain it to me. And then I was just like, look, do what you need to do. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, that was the end of it. And then they did what they needed to do, and then I paid whatever I needed to pay, and then I was gone. It was the simplest experience I've ever had in a business place. You know what I mean?
I think so. I mean, you're just saying that you explain you explain what you said with as least words as possible.
Right. I didn't try to because I realized that I wanted to have the conversation. I wanted to be like, oh, what does that mean? So what can we do? Let's talk. You know what I mean? That part of me wanted to do that.
Yeah.
But I was like, nah. Look, okay, you got to do what you got to do, and then we'll deal with it. Whatever comes out of that, that's what we deal with. That's it. It's not really much to say. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds simple, man.
I just did it again. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's that influence.
Okay.
Don't worry, I'll be a better influence.
Okay, let me ask you. I wanted to ask you, too, about that. Did you already talk about that Daddy's Home video from Trump?
What are you talking about?
Daddy's Home. He had the music video.
I think I may have heard something about that.
You haven't seen it, though?
I don't know. I don't think I saw it.
Oh, okay.
Why? What's about it? He put out like a song, right? Some song?
He's used Usher's Daddy's Home.
But I was gonna say he used like Usher's song, right?
It's not his song, but there was they made an edit where it's like footage of him, just handling business, and then in the background is that Usher song like Daddy's Home, Daddy's Home. You know what I'm saying? And it was just amazing to see. And
why?
I just thought it was. I don't know, man. I wanted to talk about it because a week ago, he was just dealing with Iran and Israel and all this stuff. And then he's, dropping music videos. Like, this guy's like, I don't know. He's just living life. Even though he's the president, he's still living life. You know what I mean?
I don't know if he did that.
Dang, I just said it again.
I don't know if he even did that. That was just like his team and stuff. People who make videos.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought that was like an official release from the White House.
I don't know. Do you know? It doesn't seem like something that. It sounds like something that Trump would just say sure to, or didn't even have to approve.
Yeah, but I think it seems like he's a little more aware than that. Like, he wouldn't just let stuff. It doesn't seem like he would just let stuff drop without. You know what I mean? I just did it again.
What's wrong with you?
I can't help it.
You know what I mean?
I can't help it, man. It's like the perfect filler.
It's not. It's just filler.
Yeah, it is. Totally.
Okay. You're not saying anything.
Yeah, I really am not.
You ask a question, and then you let me respond, and then I'll say
Yeah.
something, and then you respond.
Mm.
It's funny because I know exactly why you're doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right
Okay,
on, man.
cool,
Well,
man.
appreciate it. Hey, call me again, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
888-775-3773. Amazing. Let's see here. Thank you, everybody. Eric, man, thank you for all those coffees. Thank you for that. Incredible. John Zimmer. Viewers on Rumble, members, thanks for being a member. Thank you for all that. All right, let's see here. Do I have anything else? I think I have one more thing for you before we go. I think that's all I have for you. Let's see here. Birthright, AC. Look, we did the bill. That's pretty much it. I got some funny stuff for you here concerning, since we talked about birthright and all this immigration. You got to see Mamdani and these people eat with. Did you see the video of him eating with his hand? You know, it's just kind of funny, too, to me. I already told you, too, about this guy winning in New York, Mamdani. I already told you the demographic change behind that, the crime, what's wrong with that. I told you today, though, you know, those complicit, the Republicans, the government. So you already know my thoughts about Mamdani and all that, and also how they kind of get what they deserve over there in New York. So you get that. It was just a funny video of this guy eating with his hands. And did I ever tell you guys when the floodgates were opened in Canada? And then I think we'll go here because I don't have much else for you here. You can call me 888-775-3773. Oh, man. Let's see. How do I pull this up? They're calling it brown rage. And it's all this stuff about, his post about the last majority white assembly district in Queens is represented by this guy, big old smile. Like, what do you think that is? It's like, it's conquest. The feeling when the last majority white assembly district in Queens is represented by this guy. Who's this guy? A non-white person. It's gloating. It's gloating is what it is. And they can have money. They could be educated. But they got a chip on their shoulder. And some are calling it brown rage. Doesn't matter if they got wealth or not. Once they get power, you get headlines like this out of New York Post. Mamdani says white neighborhoods should pay higher property taxes. The price is white. Oh well, that's how she goes. It's the voting for a progressive, socialist, whatever they call him. He has very interesting commentary about violence. In some cases, violence is a mere whatever. I forget what this clip was. But the point is, he's eating with his hands, too. I could forgive all that. I could almost forgive all that. If he just wasn't scooping biryani with his fingers and scooping it into his mouth.
So the third holy grail of taboos in American politics, you have socialism, you have Islam, and then you have Palestine. And you are really going for the trifecta.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. Tell me, why is Palestine a part of your politics?
When you grow up as someone, especially in the third world, you have a very different understanding of the Palestinian struggle.
Some are like, this guy didn't grow up like this. His parents were rich and stuff. And I don't know. I mean, I knew people who definitely didn't eat like this, but they were like the nouveau riche in Canada, the Indians, the skilled Indians, educated, like the nouveau riche in some of these areas in Canada. I grew up with some of them, and no, they had family. Maybe they didn't, but they maybe have had family, or when they went to India. They're kind of familiar, so I wouldn't say that this guy's just. I mean, he does like to put on these different accents. This guy's like one of these strivers, one of these He's just striving to get to the top, so I wouldn't put it past him. I just remember in Canada, and then I'll get to calls here. Get to another call here. I just remember in Canada when the floodgates opened. It was diverse already somewhat, but there was a sudden, I was young in school, and it was just like a sudden change. Suddenly, all these people covered head to toe from strange languages, from faraway places, all became my classmates. And at times, they were just very disruptive and just different. Hey, I made friends with a lot of them, too. But I just remember one family that moved in, our neighbors, in this building we lived in. And they were new. And I went out to the park, and I'd play with the kid that was part of this family. And eventually, they invited us over for a meal. You know, this kind family, they were kind enough. They invited us over for a meal, right? I think they were Indian of some sort, but we sat down. I guess I'll just never forget. I mean, we sat down, and they brought over this plate. It was just like this plate, and it seemed like this rice yogurt concoction. I don't know what it was. And you gotta. I wonder what my face was like as this kid, somewhat kid. I don't know. How old was I? What, 11? Whatever. You should have seen. I wonder what my face was like. A shock when we sit down. I'm sitting down with my family, invited over for dinner, and they put this like yogurt rice mess, spicy mess, and they start scooping it with their hands onto their plates, and they start eating it. And the dad is just like, hey, yeah, you know, making conversation, has buttoned up shirt, scoops with his hand, does the move right because you got to go like this. You got to go like this, so like. That you ball it up in your hands. You seen the technique. You see Buddy here doing it. He's clearly got some technique here. Okay. You see he's got the ball. See, he's not even doing it like the way I seen it. Because I seen him get like large amounts and be able to go. See, you go like this, right? And now you got like some kind of like shape going on where you could just kind of like shovel all this rice into your face. But hey, that's what I saw. I didn't eat. I tried some. It was inedible. I'll tell you that right now. And that was just that family. But it was inedible. I didn't eat. And that's it. That was the 30. That clip was 20 seconds. There was no more to that clip. That was him eating. You saw him eat the rice with his hands. You saw it. What else is there to say? We got, let's see here. We got Ross, New Jersey. How you doing on the air?
Hey, Nick. How you doing?
All is well, Ross. Appreciate your call. Go ahead.
I was, the other day I was looking and I saw a baby that was born with the placenta hooked to the baby through the cord, and they brought the placenta out with the baby. And I was wondering if you ever seen that picture.
What? No, I've never seen that. I don't think I've ever seen that.
It's so weird because the
what
cord
made you call my show about it?
Because I was thinking about how everything in life we go through like some type of cord. Like when we go from our father, we go through the cord, you know, his organ into the female through her hole, and then we go into a fallopian tube up to an egg, which we attach to. And then we get hooked into the cord that's hooked to our mother. And then we come out of that cord. And right now, everybody's going into the inner tube or the extension cord or another cord into life. And I'm just wondering what life is really all about. Are we just electricity moving from one spot to another?
That sounds like a lot of possibly connected thoughts.
Well, that's what everything is. Another plug, another hole we follow.
Another tube, another cylinder. I mean, in some ways, you could describe people. The human body is a cylinder, right? It's a cylinder surrounded by, right, the opening of your mouth all the way down to, you know. We are essentially a tube with auxiliary parts around it.
And we're all full of black holes.
What made you think about all this?
just how open everybody is. Like certain people are just so open and other people have their holes clogged up. Because I think if you get out in the sunlight during the day, your pupils, they close down the pinholes, so you don't have much attention then. But the minute the night comes to life, your eyes open up full and wide, and then that black hole opens up and you want to do everything you can.
Are you a Christian?
And, more of nature born.
Oh,
like
true.
I try to relate my life to nature.
How old are you, out of curiosity?
I'm mid-60s. I've been through a lot of tubes.
I don't know how you I don't know, man. That means I understood maybe some of that.
The reason I'm saying something is because, the next tube I might go into might be the ground, So, you don't ever know if I'm going to get taken into the inner tube somehow, the internet way. Right now we're getting transferred from New Jersey all the way to California through a tube. Don't ask me how, but it's
I can't deny like some of what you're saying here. It's like I see the tubes in I see the tubes in everything you're speaking, sir. But am I insane then for this?
No, I think that every
does that
time
make
a
me
plane,
somewhat insane? Maybe because this is somewhat insane.
Well, we get tubes put in our arm to take our blood out, right?
I guess. I can't deny that either. It's tubes on tubes, sir. I've seen the tubes and everything you said. I guess that makes me as crazy as you.
No, it's the same thing as the earth. The earth streams are tubes full of water. The ground's full of oil, just like we're full of blood and we're full of water. The trees are hollow holes that are filled with water. Grass is the same way. Flowers, ponds are holes in the ground that get filled with water.
You're overreacting to the tubes of life, I think.
I'm trying to tell you, man, our brains are focused on the wrong thing. You can find every answer.
I think you're maybe it sounds like you're just focused on this.
It could be, but it makes sense though. When you look in nature, it makes sense. You know what I mean?
Jelly bean. Well, appreciate your call, sir. Call me again.
All right, take care.
Take care, Ross. The tubes, man, I see them everywhere. All right, folks. That's pretty much it for me. What can I say? Call me right now or we got to go because that's the show. We did the super chats, the topics, everything. We done did it all. I'd be squeezing a rag with nothing to give. I would be just wringing out a rag and there'd be nothing coming out. So, folks, like, subscribe. Don't be rude, okay? You sat here for the show. You enjoyed it. Leave a comment. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. What else? buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby for all the lovely people who want to support that way. My members on Rumble. My super chatters on YouTube. Always a pleasure as always. Thank you so much. And all the people who've been sending me super thanks and all that on the videos. People liking the videos. But Chia, what else can I say? Let's see here. What else can I say? That's it. I had this saved. Okay, I got this. Like, if I really wanted to if I really wanted to squeeze something else out here, if I had literally anything else, it's this video of strawberry growing machines, I guess. They're growing machine. They're using the strawberries. We have the technology. They say we need the labor. We need the labor. You gotta have them. You gotta just bring them over. Okay, well, just don't make them citizens. Can we be creative with our laws here? Can we be creative with our system here? It seems you could do anything else. I heard someone say this the other day. I'm like, that's a pretty creative solution, huh? Yeah, fine. Bring them in. Pick the strawberries. Just don't make them citizens. Don't let their babies become citizens. Semplice. Or
we need to produce food in England. We need to produce really good food. So we asked a group of engineers at Dyson what they could do to improve some of the activities on the farm. One of the things we came up with was a vertical growing system.
I think this is the biggest rig Dyson's ever made, 24
Yeah, we'll just use machines.
meters long, 5.5 meters tall. Each wheel's 500 kilograms.
We did the whole thing ourselves. Every bit of wiring, every nut, bolt, fastener.
Spent a lot of blood, sweat and tears into this rig for the last 2 years. It's like having a child. Every single bolt I've got a relationship with.
We import all our strawberries in England, except in the height of the summer season. So what I've done is to build 2 huge green
This is great. Some people are loving this.
houses. And from that, we can produce the tastiest strawberries you could imagine all year round.
What we're working
all year round.
on here.
I think this is the guy who made Dyson
Yeah, with
vacuums. Yeah. I mean, you know, one day you're making Dyson vacuums, and the other day you're possibly saving your nation.
The Dyson engineers is the whole different growing system to get much, much higher density fruit in a covered environment. This is stacking strawberries up across these multiple levels. The challenge you then get is light levels and shadowing and making sure that the leaf and the leaf canopy
engineers
gets enough sunlight to really develop. By
What do you
using
call them, Lin Yen Chin?
this system,
White baby engineers?
we're able to move the plants around and make sure every plant gets the maximum natural energy from the sun, so we can use as little energy as possible, supplementing that with the LED lights.
Growing things is like making things. I'm a manufacturer. And so I suppose in a way I've
Is that dystopian? Anthony, SoCal, how you doing, sir? Appreciate your call.
Hey, Nick. Thanks for taking my call, man. Geez, I'm watching that with that video you got up right now. That's some cool stuff. Where's this? Where's this at?
You know, where was this? I think it's somewhere in the UK or Europe.
Oh, wow.
somewhere.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that was somewhere over there.
That's some ingenuity. You know, I just want to make a quick comment about that. The runner-up for the dude that won the primary mayoral race in New York. What was his name? Mamdani?
Yeah, Zoran Mamdani.
And yeah, so that was interesting. He was eating with his hands. I mean, that's. I was just curious. Why is it so? Did you add that sound of like the sound of him eating it, or was that already in the video?
Oh, I didn't even notice a particular
Like
sound of him eating.
Yeah, like he was like slurping it, kind of. Did you add that?
No, I didn't. I did not.
So
I did not edit anything of this video.
Oh, that's bizarre.
In the
All
third
right.
world, you have a very different
Hold on.
understanding of the Palestinian struggle.
Why is Palestine a part of your politics?
Okay, I think I might. No, I didn't add anything. Just to answer your question.
Okay. I don't know why that's a desirable aspect of a video to hear that slurp. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
Hey, some people need to see themselves represented. I keep hearing that, and that's not me saying that. I hear that, right? Haven't we been told that they need to be represented. Our elected leaders should. I need to see myself in our elected leaders. Maybe some of that is going on.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. That's interesting. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Non-utensil
Okay.
eaters have to see themselves in public office for them to have a good life.
Yeah. That's. I totally get that. Isn't it bizarre the circumstances surrounding it? So last year, or with that old, with our last president, with our last so-called president, he floods that same exact area with a bunch of migrants and eases the voting rights and requirements, and then all of a sudden you get this rice slurping guy.
Biryani?
Is that yeah, I mean,
Biryani eater.
Is it me, or am I thinking too much into it, or does it seem like it's clearly some sort of way to basically run down a once flourishing area with migrants and then overburdening the local resources for migrant resources, and then basically making sure the population is homogenous enough for them to elect some kind of representative that will turn the city into a literal Gotham City? I mean, is that, you think I'm thinking too far into it?
I just don't know personally. I don't know.
Yeah.
You'd have to tell me why you think that. I could see the impression somewhat, but you'd have to, I guess, maybe tell me. I just don't know. It just seems to me you could maybe go that far, but as far as I've gone is just seeing the incentive. Call it the complicit approach for both the Democrats and Republicans, and then I see where they benefit, whether it's of an imported voting class or whatever for the Democrats, or it's the shoring of wealth of the people who need the so-called cheap labor, which is not a little thing. It's not just like this one little thing that's wrong in America. We're talking about huge, major industries, agriculture, energy, that they're, in a sense, I mean, to crudely put it, how else do you put it? They're in many ways, the profits are being subsidized by workers. This is the problem that Trump came in and that got everybody excited over this, and that this bad relationship, where to them they keep their foot off the brake. You know, they're willing to slow the train down as slow as possible. They'll tell you, okay, we're slowing it down, but they'll do it as slow as they would want to. And Mamdani's being imported, be damned, locales and Ilhan Omar's, that's kind of a secondary thing. So that's as far as I've gone, where the things we're seeing on the other end is like a secondary concern for the people that are insulated from such a life, where people in such rich areas, Martha's Vineyard, famously, we saw in the Biden years, they're insulated from all this, so they don't care. And so in my mind, it's like being insulated from all this, it becomes a secondary, tertiary concern. And so you start seeing the Mamdanis and all that. Now, yeah, it could even be further, man. It could be an engineering. I mean, I've seen so much hatred for America, for white people, that I wouldn't put it past that some people just engineering this, right? Is that what you're getting at? Is that what you're kind of getting at? This engineering of destruction of New York and these areas out of a pure hatred. I mean, yeah, maybe. I'm just saying, as far as I've gone, it's at the very least become a secondary, tertiary concern because they're insulated.
And to clarify, Nick, please restate the primary concern in your perspective. Would that be the subsidized profit?
Subsidizing profits or importing voters.
Yeah. So what's interesting is, as far as engineering, I mean, I wouldn't maybe go that far to say it's that planned or premeditated, but I just look at like Europe, where they don't necessarily have those economic constraints or properties that basically make subsidized profits a primary issue. It's more that it's I don't know how to describe it, man. I really don't know what the goal is, but it seems more of it seems a bit more engineered in the UK, at least from what I observed, because they're not getting any economic benefits from it. Basically, they're still straining the local municipalities and the government, because all those immigrants are on welfare. They're not contributing to the economy. So, and it kind of just seems like that's being carried over here, like they're trying in Europe. It's working. The native population isn't pushing back. And now maybe they're starting in New York. I don't know. What do you think is going on in Europe? Do you think there's any relationship between the migrant influx in Europe or places like Britain, UK, Ireland, Sweden? Sweden, by the way, is really bad now. It's really bad. A little bit in Germany, not so bad in Germany, but do you think that's like a long-term play that maybe the U.S. will become part of that? I don't know, culture, migrant culture, or do you think it's totally different over here? If that makes sense.
No, it's the same. It's the same at its core, but I just can't tell you with any certainty. Coming to find how, some of the things we hear today, they were saying it on TV years ago, and nothing gets changed, right? The Secure Fence Act. Look, I just can't say with any certainty why this or that is happening. What you're describing. What I'm getting at is that if there's something interesting there, it's worth knowing for real, as opposed to wondering, speculating. It's worth maybe taking it out of there and finding out for real in some episode or something. But so I can't tell you with certainty, because usually the true story is more interesting than what you think, and what we think many things, but the true story is different. But I'll leave it at that, I guess.
You're right. Well, Nick, I appreciate your time. One thing, that interview, man, I think I just have like maybe personally, I'm extra sensitive when people are like eating and slurping their food, especially on camera.
Mm-hmm.
But it reminded me so much of this hadith. Can I read it for you really quick?
Hadith? What's that again? That's that
book
hadith that came after the Quran?
Yeah, it's the divine inspiration of the Prophet Muhammad's life. So those contain his sayings, but they still consider it divine, at least the Sunnis.
Gotcha.
It's really short. So Allah's messenger, that's Muhammad, said, "When a fly falls in the drink of one of you, he should fully dip it in and then throw it away, because there is a disease on one of its wings and a cure on the other." So that's just a short little tidbit. So, and so fly dunking is actually a common practice in these Islamic countries. It's not so much related to him eating publicly out loud. It's more so just the hygiene aspect of it. I'm not saying that eating with your hand is not hygienic or that culture is unhygienic. I'm just saying a guy like this with a Muslim background, there's more to perhaps we see this small aspect of it, but if you're bored, Nick, Muhammad also said that camel urine was medicinal. We live in the year 2025, Nick. I challenge you to go online, and I bet you'll find a study from the past 1 or 2 years, very recent, about Muslim chemists researching the health benefits of camel urine.
Jeez.
All right, so this is a culture, this is a religion that holds humanity back, is my point. You still have chemists to this day studying camel piss for health benefits because Muhammad said, Allah said it has benefits. That's just all I want to add. It's amazing.
I got you, man. Appreciate your call.
Thanks for your time, Nick. Great show, man.
Oh, he was gonna say bye. I thought that was the pure bye. I pressed that button way too early, man. I did not mean to press it like that. I was gonna say bye properly. Apologies, Anthony. Appreciate your call, though. Call me again. Sincerely interesting. We'll leave it at that. Amazing, folks. Appreciate your calls and super chats. We done did it all. We did it for real this time. You can't say short show. Maybe the show was short because I said things succinctly, at least a little bit more than usual. Huh? Maybe that's why we got to the end quicker than we expected. Huh? Hey, but we done did it. We done did it a little bit longer for those that require, who need the whole time. We need Anchor Baby for the full time on the clock. The trick is hanging up before you say bye, Nit. All right, y'all, that's it. We done did it. Thanks for the calls, the super chats, and everybody. We'll be back tomorrow for more American Anchor Baby. Country Western Tuesday. Gotta love it. Rest of the network. Take care, folks. That's it. Wait, hold on. Let me check one last thing here. We got to be entirely sure. Let's not be too quick. Amazing. All right, y'all. I'll be back tomorrow. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. More American Anchor Baby tomorrow. Peace. Bye-bye. Oh, Lil Nick, too, he's got to say bye-bye.
The views, information, thoughts, and opinions expressed during this show are the individual's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of the JLP Network or Bond. Their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The material and information presented here is for general information purposes only. The JLP Network and Bond name and all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owner, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service.